Laps, then it's 48.01 kilometers. This track, as you've mentioned, Chaz, is really, challenging for all the drivers. And as they said, the barriers and the walls, they're very close. So it's a good news that, the track is not really dry, but at least there's not water standing on it. So if you have a look down there behind the grid girls, there is the last turn, one of 16 turns in this track here at Circuit Zolder. And this is the speciality of one man. So we do know that Jamie is a patient guy, so you have time for a small cup of tea with me here and the Jackie X Bocht, which means turn. So this is the last turn in the race, and you always wait and then you succeed, as you did in Most 2 times. How was it?
Yeah, it was good. It was a very frustrating race from the start on the Saturday. And then obviously it was a fight to the end, and we knew where the championship lies, and I think it just happened to be the last corner every time. We were strong on that part of the track, and we seized the advantage when we could seize it, and I think we did a good job, a fair job in towards the end, and the back section of the corners, it just ended up being the last corner every time, which made the difference.
And also the last corner here at Zolder, it was the Promoters Cup back in 2018, where you succeeded in the last corner, exactly here as well. Where is the perfect line?
For the time of the day, it depends on the person that's on the inside, but he's definitely wanting to stay tight on this last corner. And I think on the very last section in 2018 with Shane Brayton was all so dramatic, just over a gear change. And it was heavily viewed with everybody at Etra, and you could see the difference in the gear change made the difference at the end on the finish line. So every little bit counts, as it'll say. And
we take a small sip of this right now very cold tea, I must admit. But you will be patient this weekend too?
Yep, I should hope so. And maybe we could produce on the last corner like we did in Most. And it keeps everybody on the edge of the seats right to the last minute, which is good for everybody, good for us, and the guys in the team. When we have everything at the last minute, they say you're just a crazy Englishman.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic to hear there from Jamie Anderson, and Christina was absolutely right with that one. Jamie pounced twice at Most at the final corner of the entire race, and it was very good fun to watch. Really intense racing as well, and hopefully we're going to see more of that as well, keeping people on the edge of their seats, as Jamie said, right down to the wire. He's on a good roll at the moment, actually, with these reverse grid races. He's won the last 3 of them, both of them at Most, and of course the last race of the weekend at the Nürburgring, so he's hoping to continue that trend. But to be honest, Teo Calve's having a very good weekend so far, starting 5th position on the grid, right in front of Jamie, actually. He's going to be 7th, so they're on the same side of the grid, but Teo will be right in front of him, so he's going to get a good chance to keep his eye on him. Jochen Hahn is going to be on the inside for what's going to be turn 2 on this lap, though, because as you see from where Norbert Kisch is there, if you can see him past Frank the Tank Car, wonderful Iveco pace truck driver, Norbert Kisch is starting on the left-hand side of the grid, which is going to be the inside for turn 1, the outside for turn 2. Much like the chicane that we had at Most, it's all about trying to keep yourself around the outside if you're starting on that side of the grid for the first corner, and then have the advantage for the inside, because then you're going to be on the inside for turns 2, 3 and 4. It's one big square, the first section of Zolder. So while you do have the advantage in turn 1, it could very quickly flip itself on its head. But as you see, it's a very packed grid here. Between this and the qualifying session that we had earlier, I was watching the Dutch Truck Racing Championship, and we had Erwin Klein-Nagelvoort taking the race victory on the road, which was good fun to watch. Some wonderful machines in that championship as well. It was great to see them out there. But of course, the main event for the weekend is our lot, the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And there you saw Jamie Anderson's number 33 MAN, the only right-hand drive truck on the grid. And Christina is down there on the grid now with another one of our trucks, ready for an interview.
Yes, absolutely, Adam Natchko. That was really interesting to watch you. Qualification, you took the lead then in Super Pole, had more difficulties. What happened?
Yeah, on the qualifying I'm first, and on the Super Pole, when it's a lot of water, it's every time not good when you go first, because the water line, it's still no line, and you must go through a lot of water, and it's not possible to brake later, and it's not really good turning. But this is life. On the Super Pole I'm fourth, and now we will see, because it's not so very dry, not so wet, and we will see what happened.
Absolutely, but you don't know exactly, because as we mentioned, there might be some water on the track again. So you were too good at the qualification for the Super Pole then. What are you aiming for right now?
Oh, it's very hard to say. We will see after the race. It's better nothing say and wait until the finish.
So it's 23 minutes maybe. What time do you have in mind? Do you have a total time in mind, or do you just stick to what is going to happen on the track?
What happened on the track.
Always a good idea. Thank you very much, Adam. So we have a look here. The tires are a bit more. They've got a bit more in it, I think. Maybe not, Chaz.
Yeah, again, just like we saw earlier, there's a little bit of a bulge in the tyre just where they've got these really low pressures. One of the interesting things in motorsport is that you have to set a pressure when your racing vehicle is stationary. Obviously, the tyres aren't up to their optimum temperature. They aren't as hot as they're going to get over the course of the race. You have to set your stationary temperature with the hot temperature in mind, because obviously when they get hotter, they will expand in pressure. And when they're under a lot of load, they will continue to expand in pressure as well. So you have to really consider everything when the truck and any sort of racing vehicle is stationary, and set the pressures accordingly. So there's a lot of calculation goes involved into getting tyre pressures right, because at the end of the day, you can't change them while the truck is out there on track. You can't really do a lot about that while they are part way around a lap either. So certainly a lot of things coming into mind. There are the boys at T-Sport Benout. And Christina is back there with another interview for us.
Yes, absolutely. With Jochen Hahn, you said a small hello to the gravel and then ended up in the service line. But yeah, very difficult this track, but other conditions right now. Maybe less water on the track. What are you expecting?
For me it's clear. I hope we have a dry condition in the middle or on the end of the race. We are a little bit not lucky today with the wet condition in the time practice, but anyway, the points coming in the race, cross the fingers, it's dry condition in the middle or end of the race, and then we can go a little bit forward.
I've seen right now that you won race 3 last year, so maybe it's a better Sunday for you. Tomorrow is going to be dry, we're hoping for that. But right now we're starting with race number 1. How are the conditions with the walls? Some of your colleagues said they're very, very narrow.
You mean the condition in wet? Yeah, for us it's not. We are not lucky today with the wet condition, so cross the fingers and we will see.
Keep our fingers crossed then. Thank you.
Thank you indeed, Jochen Hahn. Always good to have a chat with Jochen. Thank you, Christina. He's such a level-headed guy as Jochen. You know, he's been around the block. He's very wise, and he knows that a lot of the time you just have to see what comes your way. There is going to be a lot of this. Tyre pressures are going to be a main talking point here this weekend. The setup so important in wet conditions as well, to make sure it's all set up nice and soft so the truck can move around and carry its weight well, and ensure that there is a lot of contact patch with the road. You know, they don't want it set up too stiff, so the truck is skating around on top of the surface and not able to sort of absorb the energy. Here in the wet conditions, you need it very soft. And there you can see, down at turn 1, a spillage being cleared up from the earlier race. Now, I did see in the footage that we had between races that there was a number of trucks having a few moments down there into turns 1 and 2. And hopefully that will be scrubbed up and, of course, cleared by the time we get our race underway. It looks like it will be, to be fair. They just have to put a bit of sand or cement dust down, just scrub it into the surface to absorb whatever sort of oil or fuel or even just cooling liquid can be spilled onto these circuits. And especially when compared with the wet conditions, it's going to make things very difficult for drivers on the outside of the grid. And the first man on the outside of the grid is Sasha Lenz, who is down there with Christina.
Yes, outside on the grid, Chaz Stryker, our commentator, says. What does that mean for the first couple of meters?
Yeah, the problem is that it's very slippery on the track. So I need a good start. And then I hope that the first 2 laps I make no mistake. And then I hope I'm P1, huh? But we will see. You know, we look for the start for the first 2 laps, and then Jochen is behind me. So I can win a lot of points today. So, and it's important for us. So, and we will see.
Which turn is more difficult in this track?
The completely track is very slippery. So when you go on the other side for the first chicane and after the hill, it's very, very slippery there. So that's really quickly there. But we will see.
I was trying to keep the wasp out. This would not be very good for you. Thank you very much, Sasha Lenz. Competing, no wasp in sight.
Yeah, the drivers have enough to think about in the first place, never mind having a wasp inside the cab as well. I think I'd just pull over and call it a day, championship or not. But yes, a lot to think about now for Sasha Lenz. He is going to be on the outside for turn 1, but as I mentioned before, he's going to be on the inside for turns 2 and 3, and then even turn 4, but it depends, because the outside line, of course, means that you're taking a wider line around the corner and you can carry a lot more speed around there. So Norbert Kish, especially with the way that his team can set up that red MAN, he may be at quite the advantage with the amount of pace he can carry around the outside there. We'll have to wait and see. All is speculation until those lights go out. But it's a beautifully colourful grid again this weekend. Very well presented racing machines. If you ever do get a chance to go and see the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship in person, I urge you to do so, because you will see just how gorgeous our grid is. The 5-minute board goes up in the air, and our beautiful Ford F-Max gets its inspection lap underway. This is the International Truck of the Year 2019, and has been a partner now for a few years for the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. We're very grateful to have Ford's support on board. The F-Max itself has been described as a centerpiece of innovation and cutting-edge engineering within the very highly competitive industry, of course. Many manufacturers making wonderful machines, but with it winning the International Truck of the Year 2019 award, you know that it is a very, very good bit of kit. We have a couple of drivers that drive our beautiful F-Max. Lucas Schroeder is the guy that I've seen at many of our events over the course of the seasons. Also, we have our lovely Ralph that can drive the truck from time to time. He was out with us back at Most. Ralph Gregor, his full name. And you can see it's a bit more of a chilled out, tidy lap this time round, just to make sure that everything on the circuit is all nice and fine and dandy. There's no other spillages, no debris, nothing wrong that could affect the race in any bad way. Now, this Ford F-Max was actually designed and tested by over 500 Ford engineers over a 5-year period. A massive amount of effort went into making the official truck. Look at that, barely clears the bridge as well. It was tested in 11 countries on 4 continents with over 200 prototype units, and they all, between them, covered over 5 million kilometres of road testing. It's very impressive. And it's great that we have, of course, this example in this gorgeous metallic dark blue, which matches a similar blue to our Iveco S-Way, which is our official pace truck. We have 2 examples of each of these trucks within the paddock as well. There is the Iveco S-Way with its white racing stripes down the middle. at the front of the grid. As you can see now, said grid is being cleared by all personnel, all team members, and there'll just be a couple of people left doing the final checks on their necessary machines and drivers before they clear the grid, and we get the first race of the weekend underway. I can't believe it's come around already. It only seems like 10 minutes since we finished the final race of the weekend at Autodrome Most in the Czech Republic last weekend. Now for the British drivers out there, I'd like to remind them that it's nice and sunny in the UK where I am right now. The sun has definitely come out. I'm being blinded by the sunshine coming through my window, so that's going to have to change shortly. So if you hear me fall over trying to put my blinds down, then I can only apologise. Here comes our official truck, the Ford F-Max, into the pit lane. Even the pit lane entry here at Zolder is a chicane entrance. In the world of sim racing, I've seen a number of incidents there, actually, where in endurance races, drivers decide to obviously come off the brakes and go straight on into the pit lane, not accounting for the vehicles in front of them, and basically crashing straight into the back of them. There won't be any of that this weekend. We touch wood and hope, of course, that the drivers will be well behaved, let's say. They usually are. They get told to turn on the trucks now. 1 minute board goes up in the air, and everyone will now clear the grid from the very front. And you can see now everyone waiting in the pit lane as well. A selfie from Christina ahead of the action getting underway this afternoon. We've been told that there is oil on a number of different parts of the circuit. We're hoping that there isn't a delay. 30-second board goes up in the air, so it certainly looks like we're going to get underway pretty much on time. Now, I want that. Lovely little remote control Volvo recovery vehicle. I'm an absolute sucker for die-cast models and small-scale models as well. And there are a lot of them as well in the world of trucking in general. I even follow a number of Facebook pages and social media accounts that are dedicated just to remote control versions of trucks. If you haven't seen it before, honestly, have a look at it. It's great fun, great entertainment. Hopefully, though, what we're about to provide for you will be even more entertainment. The grid gets underway and everyone leaves the line then. Norbert Kish, pole position here at Zolder for the first race of the day. It is the 10th pole position for him this season and his 45th pole position of his career. He's also on 74 race victories at the moment, hoping to make it 75 in this first encounter. But there you see, look, Sasha Lenz in the number 2 truck is now on the inside line for turn 2, and it will be for turns 3 and 4 as well, and the wet line isn't so effective anymore. What is effective is the bio LNG power that is in the Iveco S-Way, which leads the field around. All of our trucks run on 100% renewable HVO diesel as well, so the sustainability methods and everything that goes into this championship continuing on strong. The championship is committed to be completely carbon neutral by 2038 at the latest. And there you can see the drivers just weaving slightly to get a bit of temperature into those tyres. Goodyear do an amazing job with the racing tyres that they provide for the championship. And as part of the sustainability of the championship, actually, Goodyear are going through what's known as a retreading method for this year because of the increased profile of the racing tyres and the extra amount of stress that they have to endure over the course of these races. The tyres, once they've been used and are obviously in good enough condition still, they get retreaded for road use as well. So some of you that are truck drivers out there may end up, if you use Goodyear tyres, you may end up using some of the tyres that you see on our racing trucks today as well. They get put back into industry, obviously with all quality control and checking completed to make sure they are safe for road use as well. Another excellent element to all of the sustainability that this championship promotes and of course brings into the industry. And that's one of the most beautiful things about this sort of racing series, you know, because there is such a humongous industry riding on it as well. A lot of the technology, a lot of the components, and even just the vehicles themselves in general can get tested out here in certain ways and put through their paces ahead of being used, I don't want to say in the real world, but of course in the world of trucks and logistics in general on our public highways. Manufacturers well represented here. It would be great to get even more manufacturers back into the championship. Mercedes with their Actros racing machines, and Ford if they have any racing versions of the F-Max that teams develop as well. I know there's a few Renaults and also trucks known as Navistars in other championships as well. We have our Freightliners, MANs, Scanias, Ivecos. It would be awesome to have even more diversity of the machines on the grid. On board here with Steffi Halm, Stefan Fast to her left-hand side, and then Shane Brayton directly in front. Shane starting this race from 10th on the grid after getting into Superpole. And now we come out of the final corner, and the first race of the weekend in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship from Zolder is... Wait for it. We're underway. The green light comes on and it's a fantastic launch by Sasha Lenz. Adam Lachko does a great job on the outside of row 2 as well. He's going to try and get around the outside of Antonio Albertetti into turn 1. And Sasha Lenz has the lead. He's had a brilliant start and already he is in front of Norbert Kish. Adam Lachko sideways on the curb on the exit. Andrei Kurzim and Shane Brayton sideways as well. Jamie Anderson looking down the inside of Jochen Hahn, potentially for 5th or even 6th position. Depends if Teo Calve's been muscled out wide, and he has. Antonio Albertetti's on the grass around turn 3. Adam Lachko not having any of that. Adam holds on to 3rd, and look at the back end of Norbert Kish's MAN going sideways as they exit the long right-hander at Kanalbacht. And again, Norbert sideways, but Sasha Lenz makes a fantastic start. Awesome to see it. He's got 1 race win this season, 13 podiums. He wants to make it 2 wins, and this would only be, if he wins this race, the 2nd time this season that Norbert Kish has not won the first race of the day. Lachko 3rd, Albertetti 4th, then it's Calve, then behind him we have Jochen Hahn, and behind him is Jamie Anderson. Andrei Kurzim, Stefan Fast, Shane Brayton still rounding out the top 10. Jamie Anderson having a go at Jochen Hahn already. Into the Villeneuve chicane, Sasha Lenz leads, but it sounds like he goes deep. You can hear him locking up on the brakes. Apparently, the start was under investigation momentarily, but now there is no further action to be taken, so that start is considered good, and everyone will continue on. There is Jonathan Andre at the back of the field. He's chasing down Steffi Halm, who's been overtaken by Heinrich Clemens Hecker. On board now with Jamie Anderson. You can see the back end kicking out as they come around turn 11 at the Terlemenbocht. But what a fantastic start that was by Sasha Lenz. You can see they're still taking a sort of wide line around turn 12 at the Boulderberg Bocht. But clearly still the greasy surface is a bit of a challenge for them. Norbert Kish is all over the back of Sasha Lenz right now, piling the pressure on instantly. And you know that that is not going to change. He's going to try and go down the inside into turn 1, or is he just filling his mirrors for now? Looks like he was a little bit later on the brakes, but he lets Sasha remain in front for now. The whole field staying nice and close together. Steffi Halm has cleared Heinrich Clemens Hecker towards the rear end of the field. And look at those three. That's one big 12, well, to be fair, 16-wheeled truck right now. Apologies, I can't do my maths. 18-wheeled truck. That was Shane Brayton chasing Stefan Fast and Andrei Kurzim, the 3 of them all stuck together. You can just see them up the road there, ahead of Steffi Halm and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. And look at that, look at how quickly the back end kicked out there on Steffi. And again for Antonio Albertetti as he comes out of turn 4 at the Lucien Bianchi Bocht. And yes, pretty much all of the corners here end in the word Bocht because it means turn. Lachko holds on to 3rd at the moment, looking for another podium. If he grabs it, that would be his 6th podium finish of the season. Albertetti in 4th, Calve 5th. Teo Calve having a fantastic time at the moment, looking for his 8th Promoters Cup victory of the season. Once again, Jamie Anderson side by side with Jochen Hahn as they go up over the crest. Has to back out of it. The bodywork on the back of Jochen's truck showing that he's had to do some pretty robust defending so far. Into the Villeneuve chicane, you can feel the understeer, you can feel the lack of responsiveness from these trucks compared to other racing machines you may see around there, but it seems like Jochen has got some sort of an issue because he's not got the pace at the moment. Maybe lost a bit of confidence with the way the truck broke away from him and understeered in qualifying. Let's not forget he went straight through the gravel at turn 3 during qualifying. Maybe there's some sort of damage to the truck, I'm not sure, but he's got a big train behind him right now. Andre Kurzim, Stefan Fast and Shane Brayton joining in that as well. Into the final corner they go, just hidden behind our timing tower slightly. Sasha Lenz still leads Norbert Kish, then Adam Lachko and then Antonio Alberthetti. Now these two finished first and second in last year's championship, hence the numbers 1 and 2. But they are once again flipped around. They had an amazing battle at Most last week, where they were side by side all the way up till turn 10 at the start of, I believe, what was race 3 of the weekend. And it does look like Jochen is struggling with understeer in his Iveco. Doesn't seem to want to get away from the corners either. When he puts his foot down, it jiggles sideways. There's no real better word for it, as Jamie Anderson tucks it in and looks down the inside at turn 2. But again, look, you can just carry the speed around the outside with that wider line through turn 2, the Sterenvac Bocht. I'm actually quite proud that I've not messed any corner names properly up yet. There's still time. This is only race 1 of 4. We've got 5 more sessions to be broadcasted after this. We have race 2 coming up later this afternoon. We have qualifying 2 tomorrow, then races 3 and 4 also to follow around a similar time of day. So, Lenz and Kish absolutely glued together still. You've got to think that Norby's just going to wait for his chance here. He's going to try and pressure Sasha into a mistake. Sasha currently 3rd in the championship, some 73 points behind Norbert Kish. And you can get 60 as a maximum for a race weekend. That just puts it into perspective. Norby is exactly 60 points clear of Jochen Hahn as well in the championship, 257 points to 197. And this is not going to help Jochen's cause. It's going to help Sasha Lenz a little bit, because you get 20 points for winning the race. And then if you finish in 2nd position, you get 15. So he's going to gain 5 points back on Norby. You get more points for the first race of the day than you do for the second race of the day. Second one has its grid determined by the finishing result from race 1, but with the top 8 reversed. So obviously there's less merit in being reversed onto pole position than actually qualifying there. You get less points for the reverse grid races. 10 points for first, and then it's 1 point less for each position after that until 10th place, when you get just the 1 point. I sent a friend of mine a link to the broadcast for today, my friend Adam, and he's messaged me saying, trucks, Zolder, rain, how does that work? Jamie Anderson makes it work though, down the inside into Jochen Hahn's turn 1. Hello, Jochen looked back down the inside there for a moment. I was just waiting and holding my breath for a bit of contact, but it did not come, and Jamie Anderson now can see Teo Calve directly in front of him. That is the Promoters' Cup Championship lead that he is looking at, with Teo right up there, 5th place overall. But of course, in their own class, they get their own points. So Teo is on for 20 points in the Promoters' Cup right now. Jamie on for 15, so Teo would be extending his gap even further. Norbert Kish still putting the pressure on the back of Sasha Lenz, the beautiful black and green machine. And effectively, they all are green machines running on 100% renewable HVO diesel. So it's all clean racing. There is a black smoke rule in the championship as well, which is now enforced by lambda sensor in the exhaust system that reveals to scrutineers and stewards and marshals whether there is any harmful chemicals or a harmful balance of chemicals coming out of these machines that the championship does not endorse, and the drivers will be told to pit and sort it out. Jamie Anderson going after Teo Calve right now. You can hear him building up the boost on the exit of the Villeneuve chicane. Stefan Fast completely sideways, so too Shane Brayton. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in there as well with Steffi Halm behind. That's a hell of a train, all chasing Jochen Hahn. You can see here from on board Steffi Halm, the rain light blinking away on the number 14 Rebo Connaught Racing Truck Team MAN. Onto the brakes now into turn 12. They all have to be so careful when chasing one another into there. You have to brake a little bit earlier as to not hit the truck in front. And the whole group just compresses slightly. Steffi Halm now up through the gears. Seemed like a little bit of a jump then from one gear to the next, where she may have lost a bit of traction. And we have a black and white flag going out at the front of the pack there. I believe that was for Sasha Lenz, actually. I'll wait for confirmation on that, though. I'll have to let you know. Actually, I can have a look. No, it was actually for Norbert Kish. Black and white flag for the penalty marker in turn 6, which is the Kleiner chicane. We've also had a black and white flag for Jamie Anderson, the number 33 machine, for track limits. You can see that Sasha Lenz has actually opened up a little bit of a gap right now over Norbert Kish. He had that fantastic start, which is what he's known for, Sasha Lenz. He's known for being very, very quick off the start. Has that little hop, skip and a jump over the curb at the Kleiner chicane for Norbert Kish. No penalty marker getting clipped this time round. There is Jamie Anderson still in the thick of the field. Right now, he's about 1.6 seconds back from Teo Calve, just in front of him in 5th position. Lovely shot there from the bottom side of the bridge as they go over the crest of the hill at the Sacrament Schelling. Here are the 2 trucks at the back of the field at the moment, about 10 seconds off the trucks ahead of them, unfortunately. That was Jonathan Andre chasing Heinrich Clemens Hecker, who's 13th at the moment. Rodriguez and Halmer, the other 2 trucks that are not in point scoring positions at the moment. You get points all the way down to 10th position. And there is Jonathan Andre. I love the look of that number 66 machine. The Dayglow yellow certainly works very well in wet conditions like this. It stands out amongst the gloomy background here at Zolder. Into the final chicane once more. This is to complete lap 5. The timer in the top left, or the counter in the top left, shows you how many laps we've completed over the course of this race. And that is Sasha Lenz completing the 5th lap right now. So we're on to lap 6 of this race. Norbert Kish still in second. Adam Lachko falling away a little bit. The gap is about 4.9 seconds. And there are plenty of people working behind the scenes here, of course, looking over all of the information, all of the telemetry and all the data that they get, and of course the visual pictures that they get from the Sensata Smart Witness judicial review cameras, which all of the competitors carry on board. We have continuous onboard shots from each of these trucks, which, as you can tell by the name, the judicial review cameras, they get used in helping sort out any stewards' decisions or any sort of decisions that need to go on. It's a fantastic element to have in the championship. Here's a look right now from Steffi Halm's machine, number 44. She looks forward trying to chase down Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, the 23-year-old. His first race in the season, well, his first race in the 2022 season anyway, made his debut back in 2016 at Harama, making history with his father and his grandfather, all 3 generations on track at the same time. Jamie Anderson is getting closer and closer to Teo Calve. It's 9/10 of a second now. It was 1.6 seconds not too long ago. So the Promoters' Cup lead battle certainly hotting up. 3rd place in the class at the moment is Stefan Fass. He's 9th overall in the number 24 Tank Pool 24 Racing Scania. It's a shame to see Jochen Hahn struggling so much, you know. He's down in 7th place at the moment. He's 2nd in the championship as well. He's got a lot of work to do if he's going to catch Norbert Kish up now, because Norby's going to get 15 points if he finishes in 2nd position. And if Jochen finishes down in 7th, I dare say he's only going to get either 4 or even maybe 5 points. Another black and white flag going out here. I'm going to check who that is for. Not had anything come up on the timing yet, but looks like it might either be for Adam Lachko or Antonio Albertetti. Yeah, Antonio Albertetti there, number 23. You can see in the way that the official there, the very brave official, I must say, sort of holds the flag in a bit more of an emphasised way to the truck. You might see him do it now, actually. Just keep your eye on him. No, never mind, he's gone behind Jamie's truck anyway. Now Albertetti chasing down Adam Lachko for 3rd position. He's really closed in on him, actually, in the last couple of laps. Antonio's such a top guy. Both of them are, really. Antonio and Adam, both really nice guys, both very fierce competitors. We've seen some amazing battles between the 2 of them in previous rounds. Now look, Sasha Lenz feels the need to defend here from Norbert Kish. Norby's looking a lot more racy and has done over the last lap or so. You can see the aerodynamic differences in the front of these 2 trucks. Sasha slamming on the brakes. You see all the steam rising away from them. The water jets spraying these brakes to keep them under 450 degrees Celsius. And there was a black and white flag for Heinrich Clemens Hecker as well there. As it looks like Sasha's gone a little bit deep into the Villeneuve chicane, but because of the tight nature of it, manages to just park it on the apex, keep it in front of Norbert Kish. This is a very intense chase between the two of them. Sasha is going to be working overtime right now. Norby's just got to be patient and hold back that little bit. Just hold back that extra 5% just to make sure he sticks with him, but doesn't overdo it and pile into the back of him, because that can be so easy to do in these chases. You can hear people in the background sounding the horns as well. Here's Shane Brayton, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, and then Steffi Halm. You can just hear the chirps from the turbochargers and the little squeals from the tyres as they change up a gear and just grab that extra bit of traction and get flying out of corners. Jamie Anderson now all over the back of Teo Calve for the lead in the Promoters' Cup. Are we going to see Jamie pull off what is effectively his sort of trademark move in waiting for the final corner of the race to get it done? There's the gap between Sasha Lenz and Norbert Kish. It was 0.4 of a second. Goes up to just over half a second, but there is going to be a little bit of an accordion effect as they go down the straight and into each corner. Great to see these two really wrangling their MANs around, doing an amazing job. Sasha Lenz has 48 podiums in his European Truck Racing Championship career before now. He's hoping to get his 50th podium this weekend. And we're going to see Jamie Anderson's 100th start this weekend as well. Look at this though, Norbert Kish still chasing down Sasha Lenz. You can hear just a quick snatch of the brake every so often. And again there you can hear the tyres scraping on the surface as they try to get any bit of traction down that they can. A little bit further down the order there is Shane Brayton. He's got pressure from Jose Eduardo Rodriguez right behind him. And whoa, Stefan Faster a little bit sideways there into the Villeneuve chicane. That was a bit of a scary moment for him. There is Shane, windscreen wiper going absolutely nuts on the front of that MAN. Look at the gap here from Albacete back to Teo Calve. It's about 11.5 seconds at the moment. Maybe about 11.6. Black and white flag going out again here. Let's have a look at who this is for. Is it for Norbert Kish? No, it's not. It's going to be for Jamie Anderson, I believe. He's had another one. So too is Heinrich Clemens Hecker. He's had a black and white flag for turn 6 and turn 9. That's when it comes to penalty markers. Let's keep our eye on that official on the left. Watch how he does this now. There you go, look, yeah. So you sort of hold it towards him as if to say, this is for you, sunshine. Jamie Anderson gets a telling off. That's his second warning. Drive-through is applied for the next one, and it's the same with Heinrich Clemens Hecker as well. So they need to be very, very careful, but with the narrow confines of Zolder, it's incredibly difficult to avoid those penalty markers when you're pushing as hard as these drivers are, especially in these conditions as well. It's very slippery. It was the same last year as well, actually. We had a lot of rain here at Zolder in 2021. We're now on the 9th lap of this race, though, out of 12. And Sasha Lenz is doing an awesome job at holding on to the race lead for the moment. Norbert Kish all over the back of him right now. Sasha's wing mirrors will just be a sea of red. And the Revace Racing logo and the MAN logo. You can probably see the whites of Norbert Kish's eyes right now. Lachko seems to have got away from Albacete a little bit as well. Calve's going to be praying that Jamie Anderson makes some sort of mistake and falls back into the hands of Jochen Hahn. There's Shane Brayton, Rodriguez and Halm once again. Steffi's just lacking that little bit of pace this weekend by the look of it. She doesn't seem to have the confidence to be up there fighting where she normally is. She's normally well inside the top 10, usually in at least the top 6 on the front 3 rows of the grid, but they haven't seen that from her yet this weekend, unfortunately. But every driver has their good weekends and their bad weekends. We go back on board with Steffi now. We go through turn 11, known as Terlemenbocht. Over the crest of the hill. Now, this isn't actually counted as an official corner on the track map or by the FIA. That little left kink, but Boulderberg-Bocht is. That is turn 12. And you have two very differing chicanes at the end of the lap. The Jochen-Rindt-Bocht is turns 13 and 14, very shallow corners on the exit of 12. And then 15 and 16 is the final chicane. There's Adam Lachko and Antonio Albertetti, and there is the gap back to Teo Calve, trying to hold off Jamie Anderson. Now these two, fantastic respect between the pair of them, and very hard racing in the Promoters' Cup. We've not seen too many battles with them actually going head-to-head on track this season. They've both sort of benefited from different scenarios as the championship's gone on, and that's what's levelled them out, really. Either way, they've had an exciting championship fight to keep our eye on. A clean one at that, of course, with it running on 100% renewable HVO diesel. Great to see these two going head-to-head again, though. Always a good battle in hand when we've got Sascha Lenz against Norbert Kisch. Sascha really deserves to win a championship in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. He's not won a title yet, but he has become so close time and time again. Norbert Kisch is now a triple champion, 2014, 15 and 2021. Everybody always remembers back to 2015 when he won the championship a second time with the utter dominance that he displayed there. 19 race victories. And he's almost on track to do it again this year. We have another 8 races, 11 races after this one before the championship comes to a close, and he's already got 11 race wins now. Antonio Albertetti starting to close back in behind Adam Lachko again, but not by a massive amount. He's just there or thereabouts, isn't he, at the moment? Now you see our two leaders through that final chicane once again. Hard onto the power as we get back on to the start-finish straight, and that completes lap number 10. So we're going to go on to the penultimate lap of the race now. Norbert Kisch still not able to do anything to get past Sascha Lenz, but part of me thinks that he's just waiting for his opportunity here, because if he can get a move done, he needs to do it at a time when Sascha cannot come back at him, and he doesn't have the time to reconsider a move or even just stick with him and identify an opportunity for it. There's Adam Lachko and Antonio Albertetti still fighting over that final podium spot. Antonio is keeping Adam under pressure for now. And there goes Teo Calve with Jamie Anderson just behind. Then Jochen Hahn, Andre Kurzim, Stefan Faas. And then we have Shane Brayton rounding out the top 10 and, of course, the points finishers for this race at the moment. The current Promoters' Cup podium is Calve, Anderson and Faas, running 5th, 6th and 9th, respectively. Norbert Kisch just climbing around all over the back of the MAN of Sascha Lenz. There is the beautiful Bagheera ZM Racing Freightliner. Doesn't it just look fantastic? Looks like the perfect idea of a racing truck that you draw when you're a kid. Absolutely love the look of it. I think everybody's sick of me declaring my love for that and the Iveco S-Way by now. Now Jamie Anderson is under investigation for another penalty marker, which would of course compromise his current position in the Promoters' Cup. Stecken chasing Teo Calve. Now we always say that Jamie can have a certain advantage in certain places over the left-hand drive trucks, because Jamie's is the only right-hand drive truck on the grid. So he can get nice and close to certain penalty markers where having that visual advantage out the right-hand side of the truck may help. But others might not, as Norbert Kisch has gone for a move on Sascha Lenz into the final chicane. We're on to the final lap now, and Norby is starting to have a go. He's had one little dig down the inside into that last chicane at Jackie Ixbocht, but he hasn't been able to make it stick. And now we're on to the final lap of the race. Sascha Lenz still leads then. He's had one race victory this season, has Sascha, and it's been a long old time since he's had that as well. That race victory came in the final race of the day at the first race meeting of the season, back at Misano. Feels like a long time ago now, doesn't it? There's the rest of the field making their way through then. Teo Calve still ahead of Jamie Anderson. Going to keep my eye out to see. There is no further action for Jamie Anderson based on track limits and penalty markers, so he will hold on to that place for what we see. So as far as we know, Jamie will get his position wherever he finishes on the road. Sasha Lenz continues to lead, gets a great run out of the Kleiner chicane. That's exactly what he needs as well, because Norbert Kish will surely try and have a go down into the Villeneuve chicane, turns 8 and 9 at the bottom of this hill. In terms of the championship, Norby doesn't have to worry too much about the points because he's got a healthy advantage over Sasha and over Jochen Hahn. 5 points difference is not going to affect him too much, but you can see he's trying to use every bit of the road and more, hopping and skipping over those sausage curbs on the second part of the chicane, trying to throw absolutely everything at the potential race victory. I wonder whether we're going to cut to a shot of him down the inside into turn 12, and it certainly looks like he's going to have a look anyway. But no, Sasha Lenz holds on to it. Is the move going to come into the final chicane? We'll have to wait and see. You can hear the wheel spin, you can hear the tyres screeching. There's everyone else making their way through Villeneuve. Kurzim's actually close to the back of Jochen Hahn, you know, onto this final lap as well. Maybe that's something for him to think about. But here they come, they're side by side. Norbert Kish is down the inside into the final chicane. They do make a bit of contact by the look of it. Norby's bouncing around all over the chicane. It looks like it's going to be Sasha Lenz. He gets on the power hard and out of the final corner. Sasha Lenz wins at Zolder. He takes the first race of the day. And that is only the second time this season that Norbert Kish has not won the first race of the weekend. That is remarkable. Actually, no, that's the first time this season that Norbert Kish hasn't won the first race of the weekend. Wow. Lachko finishes third. Alberthetti finishes in fourth. Great racing at the front. Teo Calve is going to take fifth position across the line, with Jamie Anderson finishing just behind him. We wait for them to clear the line. Yes, he does. Teo Calve takes his 8th victory of the season in the Promoters' Cup. Jamie Anderson finishes second in class. Jochen Hahn finishing 7th in what was quite a disappointing race ahead of André Kurzim. Stefan Faas takes the podium in the Promoters' Cup. But wow, what a fantastic drive by Sasha Lenz. That one will mean a hell of a lot to the team. And to beat Norbert Kish as well in the first race of the weekend, well, that is a very, very important statement to make by Sasha Lenz. Fantastic racing by both of them all the way through. Great patience displayed by Norbert Kish. And across the line, Heinrich Clemens Ecker and Jonathan Andre side by side across the line as well. Good entertainment, I imagine, all the way down the field from those guys, giving the fans something to watch, no matter what position in the race. Jamie Anderson and Teo Calve side by side down towards the chicane. I imagine just giving each other congrats and giving one another a wave. They've got a lot of respect for each other, to be fair. There's a lot of drivers in the paddock, and everybody involved, they all have amazing respect. And like we've seen before, the whole One Truck Family hashtag that the championship carries with it is not just a hashtag, it is a genuine meaning as well. Everyone helps each other out in this series so much. We've seen it a lot of times where drivers and teams have engine failures and engine replacements, and other teams jump on the bandwagon so quickly to help out their fellow competitors. We don't have the biggest grids in the world in this championship, and it's great to see the interests of that at the priorities of the drivers and the teams, of course. They want to make sure that we get everybody out on the grid that we can possibly get out each round. Now, aside from Sasha Lenz and the other personnel of his team, I know that my good friend Jane Rona Bigler will be very excited at Sasha getting that race victory. She's one of the absolute stars of the paddock, bless her. She's always sending me a lot of information. And hello to Lisa Garrett as well, who has sent me a message saying, I wish you were commentating on the Dutch races as well, because we can't understand a word of their commentary. I apologise, Lisa, I'm really sorry. I wish I was as well, to be fair. I was watching the action earlier on and it seemed like a right good laugh, to be fair. But what a great race that was by Sasha Lenz. SL Truck Sport 30 will be over the moon with that. He got the job done off the start, as he often does. He's very quick off the starts of these races. And Norbert Kish, unfortunately, for his sake, could not do enough to come back at him. But well done to Sasha. A thumbs up as well from the marshals. And a round of applause as they make their way back into the pit lane. And we'll see them pull in now. First, second, and third. The window net goes down and the door comes open very quickly on the number 2 machine. Adam Lachko right alongside will be happy with another podium. That is Adam Lachko's 167th podium. Big hugs all round from Sascha Lenz. And as I said, it'll mean a lot to win the first race of the weekend. Something that Norbert Kish has done every single round so far this year. And I tell you what, there's respect for you as well. Big handshakes all round to the guys. There's Schaber from Reveche Racing, Norbert Kish's team. Big hugs to Sascha as well. And that alone, I mean, that even makes me tear up. That, you know, the respect between the teams and the drivers. For the race-winning driver to come out straight away and then to obviously congratulate his own team, but their main rivals team as well, you know, hugs all around. That's just fantastic racing respect. Great sportsmanship. Norbert Kish, second place, still great for the championship. There's Jane and her wonderful spiky hair. Norbert Kish will be still happy with second place, I imagine, because it's still a lot of championship points. He's only lost 5 to Sascha in that race. But of course, in the championship, that all matters, and he's going to make his way over now and congratulate him. Big handshake, well done, and a hug. Great respect. It's honestly just so heartwarming watching this championship. Even if I wasn't the commentator and I was just a spectator, you know, it's incredibly heartwarming to watch. And now that they are happy and all, well, handshaken out, I imagine, Christine is going to interview our race winner, Sascha Lenz.
Yes, and they are just having a quick chat about everything was fair, and it was. Sascha Lenz, Muhammad Ali was stinging like a bee, and you had a wasp. Maybe this did sting like a wasp today against Norbert Kish. What a fighting it was. It was a perfect start for you.
Yeah, I have a really good start. I hear Nobby at the wheel spin, and I have 8 low, and I can go directly, and then I was directly in the front, so he tried really fair to me. When he is on the side, I give him place, but then by the exit I have a better traction, and then I can go. Yeah, I'm really happy. Thank you for my team, and it was a really nice race. Yeah.
Absolutely. How was it then? Because Norbert Kish obviously was attacking a lot. How many times did you look at the mirror?
I don't know. I forget it. I look every time in the mirror and on the camera. When I turn right, then I see directly the camera. So I see every time the big red truck on my back. I say, fucking hell, fucking hell. But no, he drive really fair. I give him place, he give me place, and everything is fine.
Chaz would be saying sorry for the language there. He's laughing a lot. So, but us Germans, we're direct, you know. So, yeah, but it was really good driving. So, the last, which was the more difficult part, the last corner, because to keep the concentration level up high.
Yeah, the problem is in 12 laps the circuit was better. So, and yeah, I'm really happy. Thanks.
Up to the podium. So as you said, yeah, the track was getting drier over the race, as we have mentioned earlier. So really, really good camaraderie also from Sascha Lenz and Norbert Kish having a chat. And now we are very happy to see the podium. But first of all, back to you, Chaz.
Yes, indeed. Beeping hell, Sascha Lenz, beeping hell. Apologies for the language, everybody, but as Christina rightly pointed out there, very direct German way of summing up the race, to be fair. And you can imagine it, can't you? I mean, having Norbert Kish that close all the way through must have been a lot of pressure. Big thumbs up from Sascha Lenz, though. He takes the race win. Norbert Kish finishes second, with Adam Lachko grabbing another podium. We then have Antonio Albacete in fourth position, ahead of Teo Calve, who rounds out the top 5. Great stuff for the Promoters' Cup as well from Teo. Jamie Anderson right behind him in 6th. Jochen Hahn will definitely want more, but he's going to be starting on the front row of the grid for race 2 later on. He's going to be alongside Andre Kurzim, who will take pole. Stefan Fass finishes 9th, and Shane Brayton rounds out the top 10 and gets some overall championship points for his troubles. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez was 11th, ahead of Steffi Halm, who again will be wanting more from the later race. Heinrich Clemens Hecker was 13th, and Jonathan Andre finishes 14th. Great entertainment, though, on a drying track. I'm intrigued to see what the conditions will be like a little bit later. You can see that it's definitely drier now. No standing water anywhere. And a few trucks and drivers still in the pit lane as well. There's a Porsche down there waiting for whatever race they may be taking part in a little bit later on. But Zolder has certainly been a fantastic venue so far, and it always has been on the truck racing calendar. It's very, very nice and windy and narrow, and lots of curbs and many different things for the drivers to worry about around here, I guess. But it's a very big challenge, and of course overtaking here in 5-ton racing machinery is not easy whatsoever. Here's a quick look at the championship standings after that one then. Norbert Kish on 272 points is now ahead of Sascha Lenz, who moves clear of Jochen Hahn in the first race of the weekend. Very important for Sascha, that one. He's now 3 points ahead after Jochen has a poor result. Adam Lachko in fourth is definitely getting closer and closer to these guys. He's been very consistent recently. Antonio Albacete, unfortunately, just dropping away a little bit. Jamie Anderson is now threatening Steffi Halm for 6th place in the championship. Theo Calve moves ahead of Andrei Kurzim as well. And Lucas Hahn, what a star. Even though he's only done 2 race meetings this year, he's not here this weekend, but he's 10th in the championship. Shane Brayton is 11th ahead of Stefan Fass, who's 1 point clear of Jose Rodriguez, not his son, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. His grandfather's also called Eduardo Rodriguez, so figure that one out. Anthony Janiak, of course, still on the board as a mark of respect, ahead of Rene Reiner, with Martin Gibson 16th, Heinrich Clemens Hecker, and Thomas Robineau round out the field. So, they're getting the podium underway now, as you see here. All the photographers and media all ready and waiting. And they call up 3rd place finisher Adam Lachko to the podium. Very big podium here at Zolder as well. It's quite the walk for some of our drivers and team members. Norbert Kish makes his way up for 2nd. I was almost wondering where's Sascha Lenz then. Why is Norbert going up now? But of course he's finished 2nd. So it's that often that we do not well. It's that often we see Norby winning. But there you go. Sascha Lenz takes the win in the first race of the weekend. A very popular victory amongst the paddock here. Well done from Adam Lachko. Well done to Norbert. Well done from Norbert Kish as well. And we'll get the silverware brought out before the national anthems. 3rd place winner, apparently, according to the announcer there, Adam Lachko. Handshakes all round.
To the 2nd place winner, Norbert.
Great respect between everybody. Norbert Kish. Get some more silverware for the ever-expanding cabinet. That's Norby's 162nd podium in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. He's only, actually, 5 behind Adam Lachko now. But there you go. That is win number 12 for Sascha Lenz. And here comes the German national anthem. There we go. Big fist pumps there from Sascha Lenz. That one means a lot, that does. He's very excited, very happy. And there they pose for pictures, and then there will be the traditional changing of the caps between the three.
Then you can change caps for the photo.
And there you go, the big number 30 on the SL Truck Sport 30 Sascha Lenz hat. Very distinct black and green colour scheme carried over into this season once more.
For our top 3 winners, time for the Marty Ebert and Goodyear FIA.
And here comes the champagne. And who's going to get drenched? Are they going to drench one another? Because it's pretty wet out there already. I suppose the smell of champagne is just the optional part. I can just hear, oh no. They spray just about everybody in the media pen at the bottom. And some funky music to go with it as well. That's a hell of a podium presentation. Very well done, gents. Fantastic stuff. Great respect as well, which is something that we continue to highlight here in this championship. It's such a wonderful paddock to be a part of. The thing is, as well, in motorsport, I've been involved in a lot of club motorsport as well, in coming up through commentary and just having friends that race in it as well. And, you know, you see this sort of camaraderie in club motorsport, but not always at this sort of international level and European level of motorsport. It's so highly competitive at this sort of level. You know, it can sometimes tempers get frayed. It's just motorsport in general. That's just what happens. But at the same time, everybody remains so respectful of each other, even at this high level. It's just so glorious to see. I think that's why it means so much for me and other personnel and everybody involved, and even you fans as well watching at home. It means a lot for us all to see it, because usually when you do get to this higher level in European and international motorsport, that's where the respect doesn't disappear, but you know, there's less of it on show in such an obvious way, because everybody is all there to fight. You know, they don't want to give any sort of emotional edge to any competitors. They don't want to give anything away. You know, everybody needs to fight so hard, and they have so much work to do that often just the little signs of respect that we see in this championship, they can often get lost in other championships. So it's why we're so grateful to have everybody in such great harmony here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. So, aside from me getting emotional and sentimental about just how wonderful this series is, we're going to now get the Promoters Cup drivers out there on the podium. Is Dominic down there actually still wearing shorts? Dominic's always wearing shorts from what I know. He's that guy that's always in shorts no matter what the weather. They're just sorting the flags out. You can see the German flag, the Union Jack, of course, from the United Kingdom, which will actually have a new national anthem now, of course, after the tragic loss of Her Royal Highness Queen Elizabeth II. We now have our newly appointed king, King Charles III, and the national anthem has changed to be God Save Our Noble King rather than Queen, which is something I don't know why, but I just never thought I'd ever have to bring up. Amazing. Third place goes the way of Stefan Faas. Jamie Anderson makes his way up onto the podium as well. That's a very powerful handshake between the two. And then the young Frenchman, Theo Calvé, takes another Promoters Cup victory. Fantastic stuff for Theo. He really is very, very impressive. Here's Theo. And there Jamie Anderson receives his second place trophy. Stefan Faas already has his third place trophy. And Theo gets the Promoters Cup winning trophy for round 21 of the 2022 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And there we go, the French national anthem for Theo Calvé, who takes the Promoters Cup win in round 21. And here we are for the pictures. They will all now get on the top step.
Okay, gentlemen, then we go to the Martini Brut. Time for the...
And here goes the champagne. And that champagne is brought out a bottle at a time now. It wasn't already out there for them. And now who's going to get drenched in the media pen from there? Seems like these champagne bottles have got some very, very tough corks on them, actually, for this weekend. Last time out, we had Jochen Hahn actually open his a little bit too early by just trying to untwist it slightly. But there you go, your Promoters Cup podium, everybody. Theo Calvé taking the win, Jamie Anderson finishing second, Stefan Faas just behind them in third. Great battle between Calvé and Anderson, 5th and 6th overall in that race. Stefan Faas finishing in 9th position. And in just a moment, we are going to have an interview. But before that, let's have a look at the Promoters Cup standings. Theo Calvé now on 241 points. to the 228 of Jamie Anderson. That gap is opening up just a little bit more than Jamie would like, I imagine. Shane Brayton still strong in third place on 195 points. Then it's a tie between Stefan Fast and Jose Rodriguez. Those two having a fantastic championship fight, followed by Heinrich Clemens Hecker in sixth, Lucas Hahn in seventh, ahead of Martin Gibson, Thomas Robineau and Louis Requenco, who are all separated by 1 point at the bottom of the standings there. Then it's Jonathan Andre on 18 points. He continues to rack up the scores. Emma Mäkinen 12th, ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, who gets 8 points from his first race. Stefan Kirsch, and the earlier winner of the Dutch Truck Racing Championship here at Zolder, it's Erwin Klein-Nagelvoort. So as the podium presentations continue for the team members down there, we're going to have a quick chat with Christina, who's got some interviews lined up for us.
Yes, absolutely. This is the sign for the interview. And everyone, our director knows best, back to Neumarkt. Salute. Stefan, congratulations, third place, Promoters Cup. Let's call it a comeback.
Yes, war wirklich gut. Ich bin total zufrieden, jetzt in dem ersten Rennen hier gleich auf dem Podium wieder zu stehen. Bin froh, dass es so geklappt hat.
He said, yes, I'm absolutely happy to be back on the podium after this first race. It's your son holding the trophy. Dein Sohn hält natürlich gerade den Pokal ordentlich fest. Was hast du dir noch vorgenommen für dieses Wochenende? What are then your plans for this weekend?
Ja, ich hoffe, wir können das jetzt Step für Step steigern. Ja. Schauen wir mal, wie jetzt die nächsten Rennen laufen. Ich hoffe, wir haben ein bisschen trockenes Wetter und geben alles.
Dankeschön. Viel Spaß. So he said we're going to improve step by step and we are hoping for dry conditions here. Yes, every one of us is hoping for that, but it's looking good, Chaz, and maybe tomorrow a little bit more of sun. But this was a sunny Stefan Fast. And right now we're going to have a look back at the highlights of race number 1 here at the circuit in Zolder, Belgium. Yes, what a beautiful race number 1 it was, and really a tough fight in between Sascha Lenz and Norbert Kirsch. And right now the teams are heading back to the paddock. Of course, there's a lot of work to do right now in between race number 1 and race number 2. And don't forget, it will be reverse grid time. We're really looking forward to. So who finished number 8 will soon be on pole position. That's very special in truck racing. So please tune in on race number 2 later this evening. No, it is Saturday. It's a bit dark right now for me. Sorry for that. So later we're going to see race number 2 here in Belgium and Zolder. Really looking forward to it. Thank you very much for tuning in so far.